Mondays with Malta. We're all about the kids. We're all about the kids. We're all about the kids.
We are all about the kids, but tonight we're taking a step away from that, and it's our big Eastlake North Sports Hall of Fame show live here at the Happy Moose, where it is owned by Jimmy and Chris Salianides, two Eastlake North grads. And we will be letting you know who will be the 2017 class of Eastlake North Hall of Fame. Tonight's program is brought to you by Pepco. Jack Forkey, owner-operator, located at 33210 Lakeland Boulevard. And Pepco is a wholesaler distributor of electrical and telecommunications. Clements Construction. Mike Clements, owner-operator, 440-951-2033. If you need new roofs, repair, or a reputable company, it is Mike Clements Construction, the real Clements Roofing. They are the best in the business. Well over 25 years. Mike's up there pounding the nails on the roof with his guys. Don't go anywhere else. Go to Mike Clements if you need a new roof. 440-951-2033. Matrix Tool Machine, Rich Wilson, owner-operator, proud sponsors of Mondays with Malta, Menor High School Sports, Menor Middle School Lacrosse. Rich is, you can reach him at 442-550-300. The Brovnick's Croatian Home, located at 34900 Lakeshore Boulevard. It'll be the home of Eastlake North's big football raffle at the end of April. 440-946-3366. Lake County's finest banquet facility holds anywhere from 75 to 1,000 people. Menor Family Foods, owner-operator P.J. Conway, located on the corner of Lakeshore and Route 306 in Menor. Menor Family Foods always has exactly what I need, said a customer that I interviewed. Forenza Stone, owner-operator Mike Fimiani, 216-780-4938, located at 36420 Biltmore Place and the edifice of a building on the corner of the Exchange on Vine Street and Route 2. Stop in and see that building and what's inside it, a $30,000 bathroom and much, much more. Fimiani's are the staple when it comes to granite and marble tops. You can't beat it. Mike Fimiani's the best in the business, bar none. 216-780-4938. And Mike Germano for Judge, our newest and proud sponsors of Mondays with Malta. On April 5th, vote Mike Germano for Judge. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce two North grads, the guy running the show, Chuck Berger, and Glenn Berkey. Welcome to the show, guys.
Well, thanks so much for having us. It's about the 6th or 7th year we've been here, and it's just great.
It has been great, and we walked into a packed house, which is wonderful, and hard to find a parking space, which is wonderful, and it's just great for the Salianides, two Eastlake North grads, like I said, but to have us host this show here, it's been great. And we're all excited to hear about that class. And how did it go? Did it all come together pretty well for you guys?
Yeah, again, there's we've told you in past years, we're quite unique is that we actually have everyone's name on a ballot that's being nominated to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And basically that ballot goes out to all the Hall of Fame members, and we also send it out to the people that are actually nominated, so they can actually see where they are kind of in our rating queue. And then basically the Hall of Fame members and the nominees and our financial sponsors are all allowed to vote. So basically the committee really does all the organization work, and it's the Hall of Fame body and members that really tell us who they believe are the most qualified each year to get in. So we go through that process in late January and into February, and we tally everything up and confirm the votes. We're kind of like the Electoral College, and basically we're ready to start letting everyone know who's going in this year.
Okay, I want to remind everyone that's listening to let their fans and people know that we're now on 101.5 FM and on the internet at wintradio.com. So you can get us three ways in 1330 AM. And I also would like those that are listening at home that are calling in tonight, we have changed the number to 440-942-9359. So those calling in, I did get a message out to Bob Foley calling in at 8:40 tonight. Those others that are calling in, please, if you can get a hold of them, it's 440-942-9359. Well, guys, take it away. I'll be back for the breaks, and it's all yours.
Okay, very good. The first session, I was obviously a wrestler, so I'm going to handle the wrestling portion of it. I know we got Bill Fucci here tonight. Brian Nordstrom, also inducted, is here tonight. Pete Ikovic is here, a state champion, so we got a pretty nice wrestling crowd on. We started the Hall of Fame in 2007, so what I want to do is just run through the wrestling roster of those that have been inducted. In 2007, Johnny Price was the first state champion at North, and we inducted him in 2007. In 2008, we inducted two more state champions, Roger Anderson and Carl Tomsick, in 2008. In 2009, we inducted three wrestlers, Dick Bliss, Bill Fucci, I just mentioned his name, and Pete Ikovic, who's also here tonight. In 2010, another two state champions, Rick Carroll was inducted, and Mickey McDonald. Then in 2011, we inducted Brian Nordstrom as a state runner-up. We inducted Jeff Wu, who was a state runner-up, and we inducted in 2012 John Dobray. In 2013, it was Bill Zerm, who was a third-place finisher, Jim Dort, who was a third-place finisher, and in 2014, we got Ron Davis in, state place winner, and Al Nossi, Dave Calderwood, and John Cronali. They were all part of the 61 team that sent 5 wrestlers to the state tournament. They were inducted in 2014. 2015, we inducted Hank Shank and Wayne Linick. In 2016, last year, we inducted Bill Carter, Frank Yo, and Mike Weitzman. So that comes up now to this year, 2017, and we're putting 2 wrestlers in this year. The first one graduated in 1965. He qualified for the state tournament, won his first match, lost in the quarterfinals. He was undefeated in dual meets. He was a plain dealer all-scholastic selection, actually the first from North. He was a Brecksville tournament champion. He won the Vince Matucci Most Valuable Wrestler Award and went on to a career at Cleveland State, where he made the varsity his freshman year at Cleveland State. And that wrestler actually would be myself, Charlie Berger. I'm being inducted this year, which after 11 years and 22 better wrestlers that preceded me, it's a pretty tough club to join, so I'm finally being inducted. Also being inducted this year for wrestling and also for football is Bill Merton from 1967. He graduated and qualified for the state tournament. Also, as far as a football player, he held the team record for 145 tackles until 2011 from 1967, and he still holds the school's longest punting average all those years also, and that would be Mr. Bill Merton. Bill lives in the Atlanta area, couldn't be with us tonight, but Bill Merton is the second wrestler being inducted here in 2017. Then I'm also going to start to cover the team members that are going in, and each year we induct a couple teams. And going back to 2007, the first year, it was a pretty easy choice. The first team that we inducted was the 1975 wrestling team. State champions for North High. They were the first state championship team that North produced. In 2008, we inducted the 1963 wrestling team. They were third in the state of Ohio. They won the Brecksville tournament that year, and the biggest thing they did at that time, Maple Heights had been undefeated for 5 years, and that team ended their 60 straight match winning streak. After they won that match. Maple went another 11 years before they got beat again. So that was the only team to beat Maple Heights in a span of about 16 years. And they had a record of like 171-1, and that team was the only team to beat them. In 2009, we inducted the 1972 football team. It was arguably North's best team with a record of 9-1 and GCC champions. In 2009, we also inducted the 1978 girls basketball team. 23-1, they were one game away from the state tournament. In 2010, we inducted the 1978 1600 meter relay team. And we also inducted the 1961-62 football team. That was really the team that put North on the football map. That year, Berea was rated about 5th in the state of Ohio, and they were trying to become state champions, and North beat them 38-8 that year. So that team really put North on the football map. In 2011, we inducted the girls cross-country team of 1986. They were known as the Super Six. They were just an outstanding group of runners. In 2011, we also inducted the 1973 golf team that was 5th in the state of Ohio. 2011, we also inducted the 1960 baseball team coached by Coach McIntyre. They were the first team from North to win a GCC championship. In 2012, we inducted the 1964 wrestling team. They were 5th in the state of Ohio, sectional and district champions also. In 2012, we inducted the 1980 girls basketball team. They were 4th in the state of Ohio, sectional and district champions. 2013 was the 1959 track team. They were 7th in the state of Ohio and had a number of individuals finishing very high in the state in their respective events. Matter of fact, on that team, Bob Barrett holds the discus champion record at North, and that record has never, ever been broken, still stands today from 1959. An outstanding job by Bob Barrett. 2013, we also inducted the 1960 basketball team. Then in 2014, we inducted the 1959 golf team and the 1963 track and field team. In 2015, it was the 1972 880 relay team that was 6th in the state of Ohio. 2015, the 1962 baseball team. 2016, we inducted the 93 and 94 girls softball teams. Both of those teams were state champions, and we also inducted the 1993 and 1994 girls basketball teams. Both of those teams made it to the state Final Four. And this year, the voting was overwhelming for one selection, and that was the 1968 wrestling team. They were 5th in the state of Ohio that year. They were sectional champions. They were district runners-up, and they also were runners-up in the brutal Brecksville tournament. We're supposed to have Tom Earl here on site. Is Tom here or available? And we're supposed to have Gary Masnick here. I don't know if any of those guys are here to chat, or we're just going to be ahead of schedule.
What are you looking for?
Tom Earl, Gary Masnick. So they were supposed to be here, but it doesn't appear they're here, and it would appear that we're going to be a little bit ahead of schedule. So we'll turn it over right now to Jen Peterlin Grosmagin and let her start to walk you through some of the female sports and the inductees for this year. So,
thanks, Charlie. Where are we? So the former inductees for girls basketball, softball, volleyball, girls soccer. Former inductees from 2007, Carol Dugan, Barb Jacksa from 2007, Cheryl Getz from 2008, Karen Gregory Zach, girls basketball. She was inducted in 2009. I believe she was class of 84. Karen Cheney Cooper was inducted in 2010 for girls basketball. I think she was late 70s. Mary Patrick Brown was inducted in 2010 for girls basketball and softball. She was a class of 83, I believe. Claudia Hughes Butel was inducted in 2011, first team All-Ohio for girls basketball. In 2011, some crazy girl named Jen Peterlin Germosiak was inducted. She graduated in 1990. Kim Cantwell from the early 80s was inducted in 2012 for girls basketball. Jenna Staten, who's with us tonight, was inducted in 2012 for girls basketball and track. I believe she still holds the school record for the 400-yard dash, and she was my point guard in 89. Lisa Peebles was inducted in 2013 for girls basketball. She was an 84 graduate. Britt Butel, class of 93 for girls basketball. She was all-state a couple times and was on the first girls basketball team to ever, actually first girls team ever in North history to go to the Final Four in state. Jody Gort, class of 84, I believe, basketball, track, and volleyball. She was inducted in 2013. Annie Barstados, another teammate of mine, was inducted in 2014 for basketball. Teresa Habit Ferrari was inducted in 2015. She graduated in 94, was also a member of the state Final Four team. Kate Mooney was inducted last year for girls basketball. All-American, played for Virginia, has a couple three-point records for Virginia. Dawn Blazetic was inducted last year, 2016, twice All-State, girls basketball, class of 95. For softball in 2010, Renee Stevens Slocum was inducted. In 2013, Sandy Erder Rowe was inducted for softball as well as basketball. And this year,
Yeah, she's not here.
okay, I thought she might call in. So, Kathy Benny will be inducted this year. She is the sole girl to be inducted. Kathy played on the 1994 softball team that won the Ohio Coaches Association state tournament. Kathy we thought maybe she would call in, but it turns out she's not. Another inductee for volleyball, Debbie Supa, was inducted in 2008. She was all Ohio, played for Cleveland State. Also, I believe she went to the Olympic trials. Jamie Galgozzi was inducted in 2015 for soccer, softball, and basketball. And I believe we're going to move on to Coach Craig. Dave Craig.
Here.
For football. Oh, well, let me introduce Dave Craig, who's going to join me here. He was inducted in 2007. It says 2000. He was inducted
2011.
Oh, yeah, with me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I remember you. And he was my track coach, too. He received a Lifetime Achievement and also inducted for football and coaching and Lifetime Achievement. Would you like to introduce the football former inductees, Mr. Craig?
Yes, I'll go down the list. In 2007, we had Larry Brinkley. He played for Florida. He was all Ohio. He drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. 2008, we had Howard Smart. He played football at Kent State after going all Ohio. Andy Dow in 2009, football. He was all Ohio and played for Mount Union. 2009 also, John Kettinen. He went up and played on the national championship team at Michigan State.
Chuck Hoban, 2010, football and basketball, multi-sport standout, and also All-Ohio. Bob Reddick, football, basketball, track and field, All-Ohio in 2 sports in 2010. Paul Mudrick in 2011, played football in 19. He was All-Ohio, and he went on to play at Tulane. Paul Mudrick, 2011. And Dennis Brandula, 2012, football and track and field. He held our shot record for a long time, but he was All-Ohio football and played at Louisville. Damon Infalvi, 2012, football 1966, went to Ohio Northern and tried out with the Dallas Cowboys. Bill Kettnan, 2013, football, basketball, and track, 1967. He was All-Ohio, multi-sport person, and he played football at Maryland. Roy Voss, 2014, football, 1964. He was All-Ohio, and he was also wrestling, and I remember him wrestling with us, I should say myself, in the old Ohio Conference. He went to College of Worcester. Tom Davis, 2014, football, 1964. He was an All-Ohio tackle as well as wrestling. Jeff Carter, 2015, football, 1965, All-Ohio, and he also played basketball and baseball. Sandy Efron, 2015, football, 1965, All-Ohio. Went to state in wrestling as well. Roy Infalvi, 2015, football, 1965. He was All-Ohio and a multi-sport standout. Bob Terrell, 2015, football, 1968. He was an All-Ohio honorable mention. And I must say I used to watch him obliterate the OCC when he went to Baldwin Wallace as the All-Ohio Conference tailback. Ron Hayward, 2016, football and multi-sport. In 1963, All-Ohio mention. He played 3 sports himself. Steve Wisniewski, football, 2016 inductee, multi-sport football. He went on to play for the Ohio State University. Tim Quinn, who is here tonight, he got inducted in 2016. Football in 1970, All-Ohio, went on to Bowling Green. Now, as far as our inductees for football this year, we have Dan Gibson, 2017 inductee. He played football in 1959. He was football all-county captain, college career at Worcester. Chuck Ladwick, 2017, football 1972. He played our quarterback, and it was 9-1 that year. 1972 championship team. He went on to play at Defiance College. We have Dave Parker, 2017, football 1972. He was All-Ohio tackle, and he was on the 72 championship team. Brian DiLiberto, who is here tonight, and we'll be interviewing him in a few minutes if I can. He football 1990. He was all conference, and he actually was in 3 sports. He qualified to the wrestling district twice, and went on also to set all kinds of records at Tiffin University, and was in the national playoffs his senior year. John Mandato, 2017 inductee, football 1992, All-Ohio. Set all kinds of records for us on the field, as well as yardage and also the number of touchdowns. Craig Kantz, the quarterback, 2017, football 1995, All-Ohio in football, graduated as North passing records, and he went on to college at Eastern Michigan. Okay.
Dave, we got Bill Fickus is calling in for wrestling, so why don't we jump back to wrestling just for a couple minutes? Can we get Bill on the show? Hello, Bill, you there? Bill. We're trying to get Bill Fickus on the show here. Supposedly he is called in. He was a key member of that 1968 wrestling team that's being inducted this year. So we certainly want to hear from Bill. He is now living in the Atlanta area, if I'm not mistaken. And they're trying to coordinate the connection here with the station. So, and we kind of wait for a second. So we're trying to figure out if we're going to get them on. Somehow we lost the call. So. Bill Fickus, we thank you for calling in. If you are listening, sorry we couldn't get connected. And maybe if you give us a try just a little bit later, we can still work you into the program. But congratulations if you're out there listening. And who is it we're going to try to get on now?
DiLiberto is here.
Brian DiLiberto.
Okay, very good.
You have a headset?
Heard a lot about this gentleman. So.
Brian and I went to elementary school together since first grade. Guy. Hi, Brian.
How you doing today?
Wow.
Brian, we already gave some background on you, what you've earned and what you've gone on to at Tiffin and everything else. Can you go ahead and compliment and talk about your career at North High School, please?
Not a problem, guys. Well, it's been about 27 years now, so get back. A lot of great times, both in, I would say for me, both in football and in wrestling. I had the opportunity to wrestle for yourself, Coach Craig, and obviously Coach Matucci.
And in football and wrestling, you were twice all GCC, twice twice News Herald in both wrestling and football?
Correct.
And then you got a scholarship to Tiffin.
Correct.
And at Tiffin, you had a really good career. You broke 3 NAIA records. I believe you broke one that Walter Payton had held for a while.
That's what I hear.
That's what you hear. I don't know who he is, but tell us about playing at Tiffin.
Well, it was a smaller school, and I had a great opportunity. I got to start as a freshman. I didn't start the first game, but the starting running back got injured the first quarter, the first game. I was inserted and never left.
They never took you out after that?
Well, and the guy came back the next year, and then he was my backup.
Oh, wow.
And then he was such a good player, he decided to go to defense. And he was also, we were all Americans both at the same time.
Oh, wow, All-American. So back in high school, let's go back to, what would you say was the best moment in your sporting career?
We have Bill Carter on the line. Bill Carter on the line.
Chuck. Where's Charlie?
But Brian, let's just continue. So, best
Bill
moment.
Carter on the line.
Best moment.
I would have to say when we broke that losing streak.
What was the losing streak?
Of course, you know that, Jennifer.
Yes, I was there, Brian. You don't need to chastise me.
It was the brush game.
We want you to talk to me. Yes, playing brush. You guys hadn't won a game. The varsity hadn't won a game since our freshman year.
Yeah, it was 33 games, so the losing was pretty contagious.
Yeah,
So,
and you guys were. I remember sitting in the bleachers at that game and hugging and crying and.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Do you remember the score of that game, or any good plays, or how much did you beat them by?
You know, I can't remember the score. I did have 4 touchdowns in that game.
Of course you did.
Got a return to kickoff.
Yeah, it wasn't a close game. I remember that.
No, we beat them.
Yeah, right.
And then once we beat them, the wins started popping off. And, you got a little taste of victory, and once you got that, got it working.
Yeah, I think you won like maybe 3 more games after that.
Yeah, we only won 3-7 my senior year, but it was a building block for things to come.
Also, you participated in track with me and wrestling. How was it? Any coaches you'd like to talk about for any of those 3 sports that helped you along your way in high school?
Well, I ran track. pretty much because I was expected to. It wasn't really something I really enjoyed. I loved wrestling, and I obviously loved playing football as well. I got to wrestle for Coach McCucci, and I was a district qualifier twice.
Wow.
I felt I disappointed him because I wasn't able to make it to state, and I wanted his career was ending, and I wanted to.
Legendary Coach Matucci.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah. So I bet it was great playing under him.
Well, yeah, I was heartbroken when he passed away.
Yeah.
I was living in California at the time when I found out. It was too late to get home.
Well, Brian, we got to take a break. First, congratulations.
Thank you.
Stay here. It's only 2 minutes. And we have Bill Carter on the line.
Yeah, so we'll get to Bill Carter right after the break.
Okay, this is Mondays with Malta. This is the Eastlake North Sports Hall of Fame. The inductees are announced tonight. We are WINT Integrity Radio, 1330 on the AM dial, 101.5 on the FM dial, and coast to coast and around the world on WINTradio.com.
Mondays with Malta. We're all about the kids. We're all about the kids. We're all about the kids.
By Tefco, Jack Borky, Clements Construction, Matrix Tool and Machine, Dubrovnik's Creation Home, Menor Family Foods, Forenza Stone, and when you're voting this coming primary in April, vote for Mike Germano for judge. Take it away, Chuck.
Good. We got Bill Carter on the line. Can we get Bill on? Bill, you there? Hey, Bill, how you doing? Charlie Berger here.
Hey, Charlie, what's up?
Not much. Congratulations. Last year you were inducted as a wrestler, as an individual, and now this year that 1968 team that you were on is being inducted, 5th in the state of Ohio, sectional champions, and you guys also were district runner-ups and were runner-ups in that brutal Rexville tournament. So that was quite an accomplishment for that team. What was the highlight of the season for you, Bill?
I think it was the Hagen match, in Willoughby South. I mean, it was one of the highlights. I remember that match quite a bit.
So you guys ended up beating South that year?
Yeah, I had gotten in a fist fight earlier that day, and I wrestled a match with a band around my forehead, stitches in my forehead, and Hagen realized that, and he wasn't pampering me too much. But I ended up beating him.
There you go. Well, listen, it's great to hear from you. I want to thank you for, taking the time to call in. Like I said, it was great that you were inducted as an individual last year, and that you're, also going in with your team this year. So congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you at the event at the Lamafa Party Center in September. And at this point, we're going to jump back to football, and I'm going to give it back to Dave Craig here. And he has one of our inductees this year, Dan Gibson, now lives in the Columbus area, took the time to drive all the way up from Columbus to be with us tonight. So I'll turn it over to Dave Craig and Dan Gibson.
Dan, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
To have somebody from, back when, let's put it that way, during my era too.
That was a long time ago.
Nah.
We have Bill Fickus on the line. Bill Fickus is on the line.
Of course, Coach McIntyre, who's here tonight up there.
Right.
So can you give us some recollections?
Well, there have been, before the season started, Coach Mack told me, get in shape, Gibby, because when the team's on the field, you're going to play. And I did that, and I played quite a bit. But the biggest game I ever remember was a Euclid game my senior year. 7,000 people were at the stands.
Wow.
We scored on the third play of the game. We're leading 8-0. They had 2 goal line stands inside our 10, and we had 1 in theirs in the first half. The rest of the game was defense. Going to the final 5 minutes, we were leading 8-0. Then they scored twice in the next 2 minutes, and we're leading 12-8. And then there were 2 more touchdowns scored in the last minute and 59 seconds, there were 3 touchdowns scored.
Wow.
And the last one, we scored 10 seconds after they scored with 25 seconds left to go in the game. And when the play ended, the game, they had an incomplete pass in our end zone.
Wow. Good recollection.
That was a game that made you realize no matter what's going on in your life, you don't give up. You keep on trying.
Great.
And so you learn a lot of things from sports. And one of them is when to pick yourself up and keep on going.
That's true. Very true. But it's nice because you were back in the beginning era when North opened up.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Back when the day, because I know Mac was talking about where you guys practiced at originally.
Oh, yeah.
Up on a field they almost had to clear for you.
Yeah, well, there was a few stones out there.
But that's tremendous.
Yeah.
It's nice honor.
Well, I tell you one thing. One thing I remember more than anything else from football is I played with some really good players. And you had to really hustle just to try to keep up with them. They were really good. And that pushing yourself to excel, to do better, was something that's kind of carried forward my whole life. It's served me well.
You remember some of the names of those players?
Oh, Larry Brinkley, Joe Dillio, George Harris. Let's see. Tim Hall was the other tackle, and I can't think. Jim Weber, and there were
big time.
There was Joe Dillio was not only all GCC and football and basketball, but he was also a professional golfer for 50 years.
Yeah, I know.
So when you play with people like that, you got to get hustling.
Right, you got to keep up.
You really do. You really do.
You have to work hard.
Well, as a young man from Menor, I played against you in 1960, 61, and 62. So,
how was it?
Huh?
You clashed.
These guys were well above us at that time, being so. But the idea being is that I remember them well when he started talking about Jim Weber, Larry Brinkley, and some of those guys on that line. Man, they cleared it open. You guys did a tremendous job. You were a good, excellent football team.
Well, I'll tell you what, the high school, the pushing to do better served me well. Now, I didn't play big-time football. I played at Worcester, but I started there. And, I also ran track there, too. But football was my big thing. And I had a guy play behind me when I was at Worcester. I weighed about 200. He weighed 285, 290. And the only reason he played behind me is I went at it every play, and he only went at it sometimes.
Good recollection.
Well, Dan and Dave, we got Bill Fickus calling in from Atlanta, so if we could let him
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Bill, you on the line? Hello, Bill.
Did Dan go down? We had a little interruption here. We got a couple of things. Are we disconnected?
No.
We're still on.
Dan Gibson tried to steal the headphones and the entire table with it. I think we're good.
Okay. Is Bill Fickus on the line? Hello. Evidently, we don't have Bill on the line.
He was about 7 minutes ago. He may.
Okay.
Who else do we have here on site for football?
I don't know if John Mandato showed up yet.
John Mandato, we need you. Come hither. I think he just stuffed a chicken wing in his mouth and took beer.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Don't take the headphones with you. Hi, John Mandato.
Hi, Jen.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good to have you with us. Thanks for rushing over from work.
No problem. Thank you.
So, you were All-State. You graduated in '92, and you were All-State. You played basketball as well.
Correct.
After high school, you received a scholarship to Mount Union.
Well, not a scholarship. It was Division III, but I did go on and play football there. Correct.
That's all that matters.
Yes.
And you guys won a national championship, I believe, right?
My sophomore year, yes.
How exciting. That's a good school, too. Good football school.
Yes.
So, as far as your career in sports, is there anything you'd like to, like family support, teammates, anyone you'd like to talk about that helped you to your success?
Oh, gosh, there's so many. Family, first of all. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. Great parents. Dad's a coach. Growing up, I grew up in a locker room pretty much, so it was. That's pretty much what I knew going into, I guess, an adult or high school age. I was always around sports, and Mom, hardest working lady I've ever met, and got us everything we needed to survive, I guess.
Very nice lady. I love your parents.
Oh, thanks. As for friends, yeah, it's great. We all grew up together and still friends to the day. And
who were some of those guys?
Oh, gosh. Jeff Monreal, Joe Tram, Chris Stankus, Ricky Stevens, all of us just grew up together. And by the time we got to high school, we knew what each other were doing at all times, and it made it easier on the field for sure. And it was it's great. And until this day, we know our kids hang out, and it's just a great thing.
Oh, that's nice. What was your position again?
Running back.
Running back?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, from the get-go.
From the get-go. You knew it. A great coach.
In fact, this was our first undefeated ninth grade team.
It
was a revival, start of the revival under Dan Kakura.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite something to behold because these guys came together. They knew what they were about and didn't give up on anything.
Yeah,
they were all there for what we needed to do, and they did it. And it was just.
What was your record, GCC?
We finished my senior year. We were 8-2.
8-2.
Yeah, and
that's the best record that.
Pretty, if not, there might have been one other team better, but I think it's pretty close to that. I'm not sure what the record.
The 80s. I don't think there were.
That was before you guys.
Yes.
When we had the little bit of trouble there for a while.
Correct.
With trying to win football games, and then you guys revived us.
Yeah. Well,
since the 60s, that was the best record, correct? The 8-2. Craig Kant says 95 was the best record.
Oh, yeah?
So we're going to have to duke it out.
Yes.
Okay, so any coaches that had a...
Well, this guy across from me was a freshman coach, and Mr. Craig. And,
oh, yeah.
And then I moved on to Coach Kakura, and I saw Coach Poto over there earlier, and Coach Butel, all those guys. Can't name them all, but, yeah, I was mainly with Butel a lot, and Coach Kakura is a great guy, great coach.
Butel coached football? I'm just
and Kakura is just a great motivator. He's awesome. He's did everything for us that we need to be done.
I remember when he came his first year at school, he just super friendly, said hello to everybody all the time.
Yes.
He was a really good,
definitely
cool guy. So tell us a little bit about your Mount Union career.
Like I said, we freshman, sophomore year, I was mainly special teams. I returned kicks and punts. My sophomore year, we won the title as a backup running back to an excellent player, senior, and I pretty much spelled him, a couple carries a game, 4 to 5, and then returned kicks and punts, but still part of the team, you know.
Right, absolutely.
It was the first one they won. Now they've probably won 12, 13 since then, but it was really exciting. It was a different... it was weird going from high school and all of a sudden we're playing teams from all over the country and winning.
And Mount Union, that's really good school for football. So I'm sure it was quite challenging. So any big plays or games or anything you'd like to talk about?
I guess our senior year, you could say we played Menor. They were 7-0. We were 5-2, and they were ranked 1 in the state. And we went to Menor and ended up beating them 14-7 at Menor.
Number 1 team. What was the score?
14-7. Yeah, it was. It was a good game. It was. We tried to. It was funny because Coach Kakura, we ran the ball pretty much every play. Not like today where it's all spread out and everyone throws it. We literally ran the ball, and for some reason, Coach Kook wanted to run a spread offense to try to use me as a decoy the first half, and it was 0-0, and we all came into halftime, and all the coaches and the players got together like, we just do our stuff, what we do, and came out the second half and just pounded them and ended up beating them.
So it's very exciting.
Who were the couple stars on the men's team at this time?
The quarterback was Don Giantonio. They had Chad Green, who's a superior athlete, and then a few other guys. Eric Anger. I mean, they were pretty good.
I remember those names.
They didn't battle with the Euclid. Our problem was we couldn't beat the Euclid teams because they had NFL running backs pretty much.
Who was that?
Robert Smith, Pepe Pearson, those guys. They always were the roadblock
right.
for us.
Oh, when you were a sophomore, you played against
Roberts, and then Pepe was a sophomore, and I was a senior, and just you run into those guys, and it's kind of tough to get by that. Yeah.
Because you were 2 years younger than me.
Yes.
So I didn't know you because I didn't talk to the young.
I see how you are.
No, I knew Johnny was very friendly. We were really good friends in high school. Mr. Craig?
John, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad congratulations on the induction this year. It's time.
Thank you. I'm truly honored. It's awesome. Thanks for doing everything you guys do.
It's very time.
Thank
Your
you.
whole thing, you got a group of 10 people over here.
You got a whole table.
Got them all.
They're trying to listen. I'm like, can't hear.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
No, thanks for being here tonight, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you in September.
Okay, we'll go on to...
if you can announce those, Mr. Craig.
We're going to move on to coach and administration. Supporting in 2007, we had Nick Carter. He was the athletic director for many, many years. Started Northeastern Ohio, and he put us on the map. He was an NCAA champ himself in wrestling, We had 2007, Harry Winters. He's the gentleman that really inspired me. He actually got me hired in Willoughby, Eastlake back in the day, before John Matucci got a hold of me. Joe Toppoli in 2007, coached track and field, and in fact, he did all three sports. He did football, he did wrestling, and he did track and field, and he started the Ranger relays that we have. John Sinkel in 2007, coached baseball. We had Tom Crow, 2007, Mr. Everything, and assistant football and basketball. Vic McIntyre, 2007, which is all renowned coaching here in the state of Ohio. Russ Nightingale, coached girls basketball, 2007. John Matucci, my mentor in wrestling.
I think he's everybody's mentor. Had a great effect.
Then we had Bob Butel in 2008. And what can we say about Bob? He's still going strong at Gilmore.
Yeah, he's coaching girls basketball at Gilmore. He just won a game that put him at number 3 in Ohio, all-time girls basketball winningest coaches in Ohio history. He just moved up to number 3. He's at Gilmore now. He'll be in the regional semifinals this Wednesday.
2008, we had Vic St. Hilaire, coach of soccer. Won numerous. Put Doug over there. We have Jim Miller, our former athletic director. Roke Trem, our former athletic director, and also won 2 state championships in softball. We had Don Delaney, 2011, coached track and field, renowned person. He went on to coach the Cavaliers eventually. Myself in 2011, Terry Hurley in 2012, our former AD, and also I assisted him in football. Chuck Stocker, 2014.
I have Chuck Ladwig on the phone. Chuck Ladwig.
Charlie, we got Ladwig on the phone. Let me jump back here. Football, we got Chuck Ladwig. Charlie, you there? Chuck, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We're on the radio at the due time.
Okay.
Mr. Ladwig, my name is Dave Craig. Used to be the assistant coach in football at North High. Welcome aboard and congratulations.
Well, thank you. It's quite an honor, and actually it's quite a surprise, too. I appreciate it.
Well, can you give us some recollections about when you were quarterbacking that team?
Yeah, I was the quarterback of the 72 team that was the GCC champs, and we were 9-1, and it was quite a season. And we were the Plain Dealer, ranked at the end of the year, the Plain Dealer #1 team in the greater Cleveland area, ranked by them. And that was pretty impressive also. It was a really nice team to play with, and a lot of good guys on that team.
That's good. Can you mention some of your teammates?
Yeah, we had some great teams. Of course, I think Dave Parker, who I know has passed away, but Dave Parker was on that team, and he played defense, and it was a nice team that we could platoon. We had just offense and defense. We had great speed in the backfield with John Marchenko and Mark Kafis, and two good ends, and Jack Delio and Jeff Crow. I mean, we had some, not a real star, but we had some real, good, talented people. And we ran a real neat offense that Coach McIntyre had put in. That we ran the triple option offense. We actually read all three options, and no one knew who was really going to have the ball. And I'd say 65% or 70% of the time we were running the triple option, and it made defenses have to really guard that team and prepare each week for that team. We were the only one in the conference that ran an offense like that. It was really a nice program.
Well, it says here in your career you were a high school teacher, coach, and principal in Northern Kentucky. So you continued on in helping kids out.
Yeah, I did. I went after school. I went to Defiance College and played 4 more years of football there. And through some strange circumstances, I really never had an intention to leave Northeastern Ohio, but it happened that I took a job in Kentucky. Never had been to Kentucky before, and came down for one interview, and they hired me in a high school down here, and that was in 1977, and I coached football, basketball, golf, and track, and so I coached a little bit of everything, and then got into the administration area after about 11 years, and became a principal of a couple different schools. So it was a good career. It was 30 years of a pretty good career, and working with kids, and that was really what I wanted to do.
And what are you doing now?
I'm retired. Work at the golf course about 2 days a week. I have a strange story. I do want to tell this story. Last summer, I was working at the course, and 4 guys walked up, young guys. They were in their probably early 30s maybe or so, and one guy had a Cleveland Indians hat on. And so every time somebody's got a Browns or a hat or an Indians or a Cavaliers or something, I try to talk to them. And they came up and happened to be 4 guys. I asked them if they were from the Cleveland area, and they said, yeah. And I told them I was originally from there. And I said, where'd you go to high school? And they said all 4 of them had gone to Eastlake North High School. They were down visiting, and they had come down to Cincinnati to play golf. And so I gave them a free round of golf that day. We're all Rangers, at one time or another. It was kind of neat.
Well, Chuck, this is Charlie Berger here, and I don't know if you were listening earlier when Dave went through the complete roster of the football players being inducted, but Dave Parker, your teammate, as you said, Dave has passed away, but he is also being inducted this year. And being a teammate, obviously, can you give us some thoughts on what it was like to play with Dave Parker and what type of candidate Dave Parker is?
Yeah, sure. Dave and I, of course, we started together, in JV year in 10th grade. I went to Kennedy Junior High, and Dave went to Willowick Junior, I know. And he was just right from the beginning, Dave was really a leader. He was just, in 10th grade, he looked like a man already. He was just, he was big and burly guy, but just as friendly, as nice as could be. But when he was on football field, he could be a terror. He really played hard, and he just liked contact, but he was just as nice a guy as you'd ever could meet. So it's a shame. I know his wife Ellie, I'm hoping will be there. I haven't seen her for years either, but she's a North graduate. She was our homecoming queen, as a matter of fact.
It's my understanding that she is planning. She lives down in the Columbus area, and I believe that she is planning to come up in September. So you'll be able to have a little reunion there.
That'll be great. That'll be good. Yeah.
Also, too, I don't know if we'll be able to get him on a little bit later, but I just wanted to let you know that Coach McIntyre is here with us tonight. So,
that's great. I think, Yeah, I'd like to see him again. You know, it'd be nice to come back home a little bit. My brother and sister still live up in that area. I don't get up there too much, but it'll be nice to come back home a little bit. You know.
Very, very good. So
it will be good. I just want to say it will be good to be able to wear orange and black for the right reasons up there. I can't wear it down here. They think I'm one of those dim-winded Bengals fans down here. I can't do that.
There you go.
Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Dave brought up, another inductee that we have, that photo. So why don't we let you go, Chuck, and we look forward to seeing you in September. You are planning on attending, so
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there
to be there, and it's not too early to remind you 3-minute acceptance speech.
I'll remember. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
301.
I'm going to give it back over to Dave and let him continue on.
The continuation of the gentlemen that are inducted in for their coaching career and also contributions. We have George Harris that's going to be inducted this year. Coach, longtime play, and a teammate of who we talked to a little while ago with Dan Gibson. We have Bruce Mays that's going to be coming in, and he's been coming all the time, and I know he's affiliated with the Dallas Cowboys at one time. I was down at a game myself, and Bruce was on the sidelines with some of us guys that were able to get in. Now, with me at the present time is one of my mentors, a gentleman that taught me a lot about offensive line play. I watched him play in high school, and then when he came back and started coaching at the high school, both on the offensive and defensive lines, as far as I'm concerned. We have Doug Poto with us. Doug, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that we got you up here and you're able to take in some of this. I know how you feel about things, but the idea of the honor is coming. So,
well, it's a good thing. And, it's long. I was lucky. I started at North with, and I walked in and there was John Matucci and Vic McIntyre and Charlie Stalker and Tom Crow and Denny Hewitt and David Cody. And I was very fortunate. It was a good place for a young coach and a young teacher. And I've been fortunate in that, they listed me as an international track official. I've worked in England, Australia, Puerto Rico, Finland, and all over the United States. And I'll be honest with you, the person who really puts up with all of this is my wife. She's put up with the coaching, staff meetings, all the hours, all the time. And I'm leaving for Chicago on Thursday. And I'll be in Chicago for the weekend. I was in Oberlin last weekend. I was at VW the weekend before that. I'm just, and she puts up with all of it.
All right, Doug, hold that thought. We have to break. We have to break at 7:59. This is Integrity Radio, Mondays with Malta, live at the Happy Moose. We are 101.5 FM, 1330 AM, and coast to coast and around the world on WINTradio.com.
Mondays with Malta. We're all about the kids. We're all about the kids.
We're all about Eastlake North Hall of Fame tonight. We're live at the Happy Moose, where it is our Sports Hall of Fame 2017 class, and we're talking to one of the inductees. Tonight's program is brought to you by Pepco, Jack Corky, Clements Construction, Mike Clements, the real Mike Clements. You need a new roof, 951-2033. Matrix Tool Machine, Rich Wilson, Dubrovnik's Croatian Home, 34900 Lakeshore Boulevard, Eastlake North. Reverse raffle will be there in April 29th. If you want a ticket, see Sean Dodd or Dennis Riley. Menor Family Foods, owner-operator P.J. Conway. Forenza Stone, owner-operator Mike Fimiani. And Mike Germano for judge. If you're voting in April in the primaries in Lake County, Mike Germano for judge. Take it away.
We have Craig Kantz on the phone. Craig Kantz.
Craig Kantz. Craig, are you there?
Craig, are you there?
I'm here, yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Craig Kantz.
This is Jeff Peterlin and Dave Craig, and Doug Poto's on the other end of the line here, too.
Coach Craig, Coach Poto. All these names I'm hearing tonight, it's unbelievable. They're all people I coaches that I played for, people that I played with. Just a great privilege to be with you guys tonight. I appreciate everything.
Well, this is Doug Poto. Just to make you feel real old, I'm having breakfast Wednesday with Mr. Butel and Mr. Kakura.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
He tells in the regionals on Wednesday.
Wednesday night, we're having breakfast.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Well, I'd like to be there myself because I got the pleasure of playing with all three of you guys.
To be a fly on the wall in that breakfast. So, Craig, you played football, basketball, baseball. You're being inducted mostly for football, All-Ohio scholarship to Eastern Michigan, correct?
That's right.
And you played basketball, I understand. You played under the tutelage of Mike Peterlin as a JV.
Yes, the great coach Mike Peterlin, your brother, of course.
Yeah, well, let's not talk about that part. And baseball. So, real quick, tell us about basketball. I understand you earned a couple of awards, accomplishments in basketball.
Yeah. We had great teams in basketball, and I played for Coach Bill Andler, and he was a guy who he had all the confidence and faith in the world in me. He was one of my biggest backers, and it does a lot for a kid when you really have a coach that believes in you like that. And we had some solid teams. We played. I live down here in Cincinnati now, so everyone down here, and I'm sure everybody up there remembers Mel Levitt. He played for Euclid, one of our rivals. During my 2 years there, he came down to UC and played down here for 4 years. Was a great player, great leaper, great dunker, and we played them twice my senior year and actually beat them 1 year at home, which was just a great memory for basketball.
That is good memory. Mel Levitt, he played basketball, right?
Yes. He played basketball. He was known as the helicopter.
And why is that?
He could jump so high, and he did some unbelievable dunks. He went to St. Joe's for a while and then transferred over to Euclid.
Oh, I thought he played football as well, but I guess not. You also played baseball, Mr. Sankel, and then football. Tell us about Johnny Mandato. Just said in '92 that their record of 8-2 was the best in years and years.
I did hear him talking about that, John Mandato, and they may have had a 8-2 record, but our class came in right after his, and we actually had back-to-back 8-2 records. So I think it may have been a tie, but we had two of those. So I think we got them there.
So you had 2 8-2 records. Is that what you're saying?
Back-to-back 8-2. We just missed the playoffs both years, and back then the playoff format was only 4 teams per region, so we just missed it both my junior and senior year.
And you were quarterback, correct?
I was quarterback. I got to play for Coach Dan Kakura. This guy was, I don't know if he's there tonight, but he was the best coach you could ever hope for in high school. He was a guy who really cared about the players, and the players all knew that he cared about them. It's so important for a young kid to have that kind of support. And, I still have a relationship with Coach Kakura to this day. I went and saw his son, who, speaking of old, tells me how old I am. His son plays college football now for John Carroll, and we went and saw him play last fall, so that was fun.
Yeah, and, Coach Kakura went. Where does he coach now, or where was he coaching? Another high school.
He coached at North, of course, and then he goes to Kirtland.
That's right, Kirtland.
Coached at NDCL for a while too.
Okay.
But he and Coach Butel, this was a guy. Bob Butel is a great coach. He's really somebody. He's in all the Hall of Fames for girls basketball, but this guy was a football coach, and he knew how to coach people. He's the guy who actually fixed my throwing motion between my junior and senior years. He
was a quarterback as well, correct?
Pardon me?
He was a quarterback for North as well, correct?
He was a quarterback as well. And
did you happen to beat any of his records? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's funny. He taught me how to throw the ball, and then I went ahead in my senior year and beat all his passing records that he held for about 25 years or so, yards and touchdowns and so forth. And actually, it was his fault. He's the one who coached me to it. So.
Did he sit you on the bench after that? Did you sit the bench after that? Okay, so
and then the season was over.
Then the season was over. So you had 2 8-2s. You were all Ohio.
Yeah, it was all Ohio my senior year as a quarterback, and that was a big thrill. You know, one of the big games that I remember was playing against North Olmsted. We were 2-0 going into that third game, and it was a classic, fourth quarter type of comeback where we were down by 5 points with 2 minutes or a little under left in the game. We drove all the way down the field and scored the winning touchdown with about 3 seconds left on the clock to win by 3 points. To a guy named Jeff Haas, actually, who is, I think, already in the Hall of Fame. If not,
he was inducted last year. Yeah, twice All-Ohio for football. Great baseball player.
Great baseball player. Probably the best I ever saw. Of course, Chris Mangiardo was right up there too, and Scott Krause. Those 3 guys, from my memory, are the best players North ever had from a baseball standpoint. But thinking it through, I got to play with.
You got to play with one of your, real quick, because we have to end this, but I know you wanted to mention you played with one of your very good friends in high school, who is Steve Wisniewski, who sadly passed away a few years ago. You wanted to say something about him?
Yeah, Wiz, as we called him, he passed away a couple of years ago. He was a great player, a great friend of mine, huge recruit for Ohio State, and we just shared a lot of great memories together. I remember talking to him prior to him passing, and he always talked about how awesome it was to play high school football. He played in front of 100,000 plus every Saturday for Ohio State. And he said there was nothing better than playing Friday night under the lights.
Yeah, that's what his mother wrote his speech last year, and she mentioned that. Okay, Craig, well, thank you for calling in. We have to move forward. Congratulations on your induction this year, and we'll see you in September.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Okay, now we have Mr. Roke Trem with us, Coach Trem, who coached softball at North for a long time. Mr. Craig?
He wants to talk about his player, Kathy Benny, who's going to be inducted this year. Roke, glad to have you aboard.
Thank you. I really didn't know I was talking tonight. I don't have any stats or anything in front of me, but...
We have Kathy Benny on the line. Kathy Benny?
Kathy, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
It's Mr. Trem.
Oh, hey, Mr. Trem, what's going on?
I guess I'm here instead of you.
Oh, hey, good, because I'm coaching. I'm in between innings right now. I'm help coaching my son's baseball game right now. I'm trying to call in between innings.
That's good. Well, I don't know if they have some specific questions they want to ask you.
So you played softball for Mr. Trem in what years? Because your teams were inducted last year, correct? The 2 softball teams that...
Right.
And you played on both of those teams?
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
This is Jen Peterlin, by the way. I don't know.
Oh, hi, Jen.
Hi, how are you? Okay,
I'm good. How are you? I'm sorry. I'm helping coach my son's baseball game, so I'm trying to call you guys in between innings.
Okay. No, that's okay. So you played for Mr. Trem in the 2 state championships for softball.
Yes.
How was it playing for Mr. Trem?
Oh, it was awesome. It's funny. My son, he's 11, and this is his first year playing baseball, and I find myself telling him things that or trying to give him little pointers here and there of everything Mr. Trem taught me. Throw to the chest. This is how you slide. This is, all these little...
And you were good at it.
You always remember the things the coaches taught you in high school. I do the same to my boys.
I had a good first baseman. My sister was my first baseman. She caught a lot of bad throws for me.
You didn't have many bad throws.
Wasn't in one of the coaches' state tournaments that she was MVP?
She was MVP of the state tournament and of the regional tournament.
Remember that from last year?
No.
Those 2, it was prom. and the prom the night before, and they drove up.
Prom was a joke. Yeah, we always had it was always a
joke.
It was always Memorial Weekend, and there was always prom. So luckily they got there, because 7 or 8 of them stayed back and to go to prom, which was fine. And we had someone driving them up.
We had to twist your arm, Mr. Trump.
Yeah, not really. Anyway, I'm just glad you made it.
It was, we go to prom, but we don't go to state.
The van broke down.
Right, I remember. Yeah.
And
you wrote that story, and
they got there in time. I just have a few more gray hairs than I should.
I bet it's rough coaching girls with all our little teeny tiny issues in high school.
I did it for a long time. So
you got used to it.
Well, we couldn't have won it without you, Kath. I really appreciate all you did for us.
Oh, gosh, I appreciate everything you guys taught me, and everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, the team really
Great
clicked.
memories.
I'm glad. So I'll be out there in a week or so. Maybe we can get together.
Oh, you're coming out?
Yeah.
You live in Arizona, correct?
Yeah.
Arizona? Okay.
Was that you? Yeah, okay, we'll see you at the Indians game.
I hope so.
Okay, well, thank you, Kathy, for calling in, and congratulations. And see you in
Thank you guys
September.
so much.
Sure.
Excited to see everybody in September.
Great.
You too.
Thanks, Kath.
Thanks.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, so next up,
we're going to get Jeff on.
Okay, actually, George Harris is supposed to be calling in any minute. So
Jeff might be interrupted.
So let's start with Jeff while we wait for George to call. And at this point, then Bruce Mays.
George is on the line.
George is on the line.
So there we go, George.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? Charlie Berger here.
Yeah, Charlie, how are you?
Good, yourself. Good to hear from you.
Well, we're getting ready for a storm down here in Arkansas, but other than that, we're doing great.
Okay, you got the number change and everything. You've been listening to us so far this evening?
Yeah.
Good, super. Enjoying the show?
Oh, very much so. I don't have the, we're in the Ozarks here. We don't have the greatest reception, and I have a hard time picking up some of the names. I'm glad that Bruce called me earlier and gave me a different phone number. And then the kid that was just on, it was the All-State quarterback.
Yes.
Right.
It's a great honor to be involved in this. I will tell you that.
You played on the 58 and 59 teams at North, so you were on the earliest teams at North. Mac is here tonight. I don't know if we're going to be able to get him over and get him on tonight, but he is here tonight and plans to be there in September. Then you went on to a football career after North and played at Kent State, so that was some pretty competitive college ball for you.
Yeah, we went down to Kent State and we played there. And after my college career, I came back, and I think I was the first teacher coach from Northside graduate to come back and coach. And that's when I really was humbled to realize how great of teachers and coaches we had. It's just tremendous. And I got to attribute a lot of to whatever minor success we had really to those days. And I'm very grateful and lucky that I've been associated with those kind of people.
Very, very good. And then after you came back to North, you coached at North for a couple of years, but then you moved on. You were an assistant to Mac in football. You were involved, I believe, in the track and field program. Probably back in those days, either taking over from Don Delaney or assisting Don Delaney. And then you moved on to become a head coach, and a pretty successful one elsewhere in the state. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We went down to a little town outside of Worcester, Ohio called Waynedale as a head football and track coach. And I guess my only claim to fame I can say is I never had a losing season coaching.
There you go.
After my tenure at Waynedale, I decided to get in business. Basically, my dad kind of talked me into it. He had a rep business, and he wanted me to give it a whack, but he just said, why should I pay you to train you? So I went to work for a material handling or a lift truck company in Cleveland, Ohio, well, actually Beechwood, Ohio, and got involved in that. And I think one year we were the #1 salesman in the entire country for this particular brand. And that kind of got their attention, and I always wanted to get my own dealership. So, and early on after that, 1969 or 1967, I think, one of those years. You got to excuse my age. We went down to Houston and formed Harris Equipment Company, Inc. And we had the distinction of either being one or two in the country in our classification all the years that we were there. The ratings there is like winning a Super Bowl if you're a coach. So we were very fortunate, and we sold the business and retired to the Ozarks where I've got family. And my wife and I are living a very prosperous, well, not prosperous, but a very comfortable life.
Super. Super. Well, listen, George, thank you so much for taking the time to call in. We believe we're going to see you in September, and we look forward to that. And again, congratulations, and we'll see you in September. It sounds like a song, but
okay.
The way it's going to be.
Appreciate it.
Okay, you take care.
Have a good night.
Okay. It's coming up on about 8:20. We should be getting a call here any minute from Bruce Mays. So why don't we hang on for just a second with Bruce, and then we also have Jeff Moulter here is going to be inducted this year for soccer.
Jeff Moulter, yes.
So if Bruce calls in, we'll stop and chat with Bruce, but why don't you start to...
Okay, so another member of this year class of 2017, another inductee, another friend of mine, Jeff Moulter. Jeff played soccer. 1989 was when he graduated. He was all GCC. He has me on Facebook Live. All News Herald, all District, all Northeast District, and all Plain Dealer. Jeff, tell us about your career at North High School.
Oh, that long-lived career, yeah. No, it was quite an amazing experience to play soccer at North. Obviously, there was a long-standing tradition of winning at North, and our team was phenomenal. In 1988, we broke 2 school records and tied a 3rd school record. Our defense was phenomenal. We had 6 consecutive shutouts. I believe we had 10 shutouts for the season. We also tied a school record of 14 wins at the time. So we just had a phenomenal team, and I want to thank my teammates for basically getting me here, because without them, obviously I wouldn't be sitting here. So
we have Bruce Mays on the line.
Oh, time out, Jeff.
Okay, we got Bruce Mays calling from Texas, down in the Dallas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. You with us, Bruce?
Yes, I am. I can hear you very good.
Good, Bruce. How you doing? Charlie Berger here, and I'm here with Dave Craig. So congratulations on being inducted. You graduated in what, 61?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
so
I did.
Basically, at North, as far as going in, you're going in as coach and lifetime achievement. At North, you describe yourself as being a moderately average player. Went on, though, and did play some college ball. Where was it at again, Bruce?
Ohio Northern University. Coach McIntyre there, he knows it was very average.
Yeah. So, but again, you went on, played some college ball, and obviously had a great interest, and I'm sure were influenced by the likes of Coach McIntyre, and wanted to go into coaching as a career, and that led you down to one of the powerhouses in the state of Ohio. You went on to coach at Massillon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I was at Massillon, and then from there I went over to Worcester High School, where I was the head coach, and was fortunate, got into college coaching, and then finally hooked up with Jimmy Johnson at Oklahoma State, and followed him to Miami and then to the Dallas Cowboys. So I was fortunate that way.
So basically, in your coaching career, you were on the staffs of 2 national championship college teams. That was Pittsburgh. That was with Jimmy Johnson, wasn't that with?
No, I was on. That was Johnny Majors, and
Johnny Majors
at University of Miami was with Jimmy.
Yeah. So at Pittsburgh, was that the year Dorsett was at Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
so you were on
back then it was Dorset.
Right there. Okay, so you were on that staff that won a national championship at Pittsburgh. Then you got on working with Jimmy Johnson and followed him to Miami. So you were at the U. You were one of the convicts. You weren't one of the Catholics, right?
No, that's a little bit overplayed. I mean, what they did then compared to sometimes things today was quite mild.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just pulling your leg. So
yeah, I know that.
You were on the convict side, and then basically Jimmy Johnson. You followed him on his staff to the Dallas Cowboys, and because of that, you own 3 Super Bowl rings.
That's right. But so, you know, I was sitting there a little earlier, and I was looking at the inductees, and I saw on there Dan Gibson, George Harris, you, Charlie, and we might as well put in there Coach Sanko and Bob Foley. We could all open up our own retirement home. And our motto could be "Go hard or go home." The title of Bob's book. I had just finished reading it. But the one thing that, Charlotte, I just want to mention that I've been around a lot of outstanding coaches. And that's whether it's Jimmy Johnson, Johnny Majors, Barry Switzer, Bill Parcells. But I would put at the top of that group, because of the kind of person he was Coach McIntyre. Mm-hmm. And the thing about Coach McIntyre was the fact that he never belittled us, he never humiliated us, and he never threatened us. And I always look up to him, even today when I get back in there and I go spend time with him, and it's like he never left him. And how fortunate I was to have a person like that in my life. And the one thing, too, that I would say about this Coach McIntyre, it's not what he left us. It's what he left in us, which is, to me, a lot more important than what he left us. And I really want to say thank you, Coach McIntyre, and boy, was I fortunate to be part of a staff, part of your teams.
Super. Bruce, thanks so much for calling in. We'll see you in September. And congratulations, and hopefully if you get in a few days early, see if we can arrange a game of golf and go out and see how we do.
We'll do that, but I want to say hello to my brother, Brian. He's up there, but there's a lot of things that I'm really appreciative about North High School and the people that were there, and again, thank you, Coach McIntyre. Hey, nice talking to you guys.
Brucey in September.
Thank you.
And I'll turn it back over to Jen, and let's finish up with Jeff Moulter, and then we move on to Spark Sankel and baseball.
Okay, Jeff Moulter. So, as I said, you were all GCC, all News Herald, all District, all Plain Dealer, MVP of the team. You junior and senior year, you guys did really well. Won the GCC, is that correct?
That's correct, yes. Actually, we had 5 consecutive years where we were either GCC champions or co-champions. And we had some amazing coaching, all the way from Kirk McGaw was our freshman coach. He taught us what we needed to know. And Vic St. Hilaire, I was very proud because his last year of being a head coach at North was my senior year. And we didn't let him down. We won the GCC championship. And the cool thing, too, is that Coach Steve Missick was the assistant coach, and that was his first year, and he's currently still the head coach. He's also a Hall of Fame member, stud hammer goalie. So
I saw him yesterday up at North.
Yeah, where is he?
They were playing.
He could be here.
He had his kids in the gym, and I walked in, and the kids were soccer. And I go, oh, it's just soccer. And I walked out, and he's like, yeah, it's just soccer. So we had great coaches, St. Hilaire, as always, wonderful, hilarious. I'm sure you don't want to mention your teammates like Bruce Gemmel or George Mueller.
Bruce Gemmel always said I was a cheap guy. He said I had alligator arms, but I'm going to put this proposal out there.
But you were voted best legs in high school.
That is true.
And you were homecoming king.
Well.
I don't know
if that's good or bad. But Bruce always accused me of being cheap. I don't know if he's on this show, but I'm going to put it out there. if any of my teammates want to come to the dinner, I will pay for them and their spouse to come, because really it's because of them that I'm here, and I really appreciate those guys. So you can hold me to that promise. I'll buy however many tickets I need to have those guys come. So.
Well, I get a free ticket, but I'll just take the money for my ticket.
Well, hey, that works.
Also, so what was a big play or big game you had? Junior, senior year?
Our senior year, we played Mayfield at home, and they were kind of our rival at the time. We were both doing very well in the conference, and we ended up beating them 1-0. And Bruce is so proud. He hammered home a goal there in the second half. We ended up winning 1-0. So that was a great game for us. So
did you guys end up winning? You won the GCC?
We won the conference outright. We got through most of the sectionals. Unfortunately, we lost to West Geauga in a shootout, and they ended up going on to like the Final Four. So it was a disappointing loss, but nevertheless, it was a great year for us.
Yeah, and you're a year older than me. Graduated in '89, I was 90, and I remember going to all the soccer games my junior year, senior year. And as I told you yesterday, I only went to look at the soccer boys' legs, but no, I also watch sometimes. Who are some other players that you played that contributed to the GCC?
Oh my God! I mean, our team was phenomenal. I mean, our defense, as I said earlier, had tons of shutouts. And interestingly, at that time, I mean, usually you had a starting goalie, but we had two goalies that split time equally. Dave Miller and Sean Segulin combined for all those shutouts. They shared the net equal times. We also had John Valenick was All-State. He's also in the Hall of Fame.
He was inducted a few years ago, All-Ohio soccer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jeff. We need to move on to our next person.
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations. See you in September.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you, Jen. And I think it's August, isn't the banquet?
No, it's September 7th. This year's the first home game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, you taught me something there.
Well, that's as usual.
I doubt it. We are Mondays with Malta and Jen Peterlin, too. We're live at the Happy Moose, and that's a ring to it. And what a show here tonight, the Sports Hall of Fame for Eastlake North. And we are 101.5 FM, 1330 AM, and coast to coast and around the world on WINTradio.com. We'll be right back. Short break.
Mondays with Malta. We're all about the kids. We're all about the kids.
We are all about Eastlake North Hall of Fame tonight. We're live at the Happy Moose, and where it's $5 appetizer, and I'll tell you, a lot of food's coming around these tables. That looks fantastic. We're brought to you by Clements Construction. That's the real Mike Clements Construction, 440-951-2033. Matrix Tool and Machine, Rich Wilson, owner-operator. Dubrovnik's Croatian Home, the Eastlake North reverse raffle for the football team will be there April 29th. Matrix Menor Family Foods, PJ Conway, the owner-operator. Friends of Stone, owner-operator Mike Fimiani. And last but not least, Mike Germano for Judge. Take it away.
Okay.
Spark?
Thanks, Charlie. We're here tonight to add to our baseball legacy here at North, and we're adding two names here in September to our Hall of Fame, to a pretty good list, starting with Jim McClure, who was the first baseball player inducted back in 2007, All-Ohio baseball player. Following year, Howie Krause, the first of the Krause brothers, who was All-Ohio. Ron Krause in 2009, All-Ohio baseball player and a third-round pick of the Montreal Expos. Terry Baller in 2010, was at North in 1959, who played professionally with the Cleveland Indians for a while, in their minor league system. Bob Hayworth in 2010, who pitched at Kent State. Scotty Krause, the third of the Krause brothers, who was drafted in the 10th round by the Milwaukee Brewers. Bob Langer, 1959, an all-conference player who had a few minor league tryouts. Ron Martin, 1960 team. He was all-conference at North and also while he was in college at Western Reserve. Jack Gazer, the all-time ERA leader of like .38. I think that's. I don't think you're going to find another ERA that low in high school unless somebody completely doesn't give up a run the whole year. Okay, 1962. Okay, and led that championship team, conference championship team. Denny Marsh, Terry Ballard's catcher in 1959. Standout leader. Actually coached some kids that I coached later on over at North. Donnie Bolthauser, just a natural baseball player. 1961, hit .510 his senior year. He is tied for 5th with one of our inductees tonight on the all-time batting average list. Okay, Ronnie Safranek, all-time innings leader, all-time wins leader. Okay, all-time strikeout leader with 107 strikeouts, which I don't think is ever going to be matched, at least over at North High School or any place in Ohio anymore. Jeff Haas, Mentor's current coach, who was drafted by the Cleveland Indians. Okay, and let's see, that brings us to our 2 inductees tonight. John McDowell, who's with me. Yep, your fan club's there, John. And Chris Mangiardo. Now, just a little bit about Chris Mangiardo, who was also a basketball player. Okay, and maybe Bob Foley will have a chance to talk about that a little bit, but he when he comes on in his segment. But Chris holds a couple of records over at North. Okay, Chris was also a 3-year starter on our GCC championship team and played on 2 teams with 20-plus wins. He's tied with Don Bolthauser for the with the all-time average list with 510, and he's also second all-time in hits with 53. Okay, 5th and 30 and with RBIs 37. Chris went on to play and catch at Kent State. And he played and managed in the Frontier League with the Canton Crocodiles and the Chillicothe Paints. He's coached at the college level. He's had a few professional from big league clubs, and unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for him, but he's down right now in Houston working a baseball camp down there, and he couldn't be there tonight. So that gives us a little bit more time to talk with John. Okay. John McDowell was an outstanding 3-sport athlete at North. He excelled in baseball, football, and basketball. Okay, baseball-wise, he was all-conference in 81 and 80. In 1981, he was selected for the PD's All-Scholastic Dream Team, which is like the equivalent of a Super All-Conference team. Okay, he was a Greater Cleveland Baseball All-Star in 1981. He was All-Ohio. In 1981, Tri-County All-Star in 1981. On his football field, he was an All-GCC tight end, okay, and played on North's undefeated championship team in 1979, okay, and he was a save-a-side selection game. John, okay, you're here tonight. We've got a few minutes, okay. How about your memories from high school with the baseball club?
They're very good. Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, we had some success. You were a senior my second year there. We won 20 ball games. We had a pretty good pitching staff, and you were a big part of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of good pitchers that year.
Yeah, Chris Kaczarski, let's see, Johnny Kowalczyk, your buddy there, but although he didn't have to pitch too much because we had some other guys, Jimmy Gentili. Yeah. Finished second in the conference again to Euclid, which we seem to make a history of doing. Yeah. But probably your best baseball memory comes before I was a baseball coach.
That was a sophomore year.
Right, yeah. John was a super soft by the Plain Dealer, selected as a super sophomore that year. And we had a pretty good ball club. Do you want to tell the people how far we went?
Yeah, we went all the way to the final game to go. We lost to, I can't remember the name of the team.
Yeah, I know. We don't want to remember the name of the team. Okay. The following year, or actually the following year, we got dumped by Wycliffe in the district finals. Yeah. And then in 1981, okay, we don't want to remember that game too much either.
No, but, lost to South.
Yeah. They had some pretty good ball players led by Jeff Bassett over there, and they were a good ball club. In fact, you grew up with a lot of those guys.
All those guys I grew up with I knew most of them.
Yep, Surfside neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still know a lot of them today.
Yeah. I hope they don't rub it in.
Yeah, not as bad.
So, from there, John, you went on to Cleveland State. Okay, you were recruited by Fernando Arango. You were given a 4-year scholarship. Ran into a little bad luck there.
Yeah, I had elbow surgery, and then I came back from that, started throwing again, and woke up one morning and my shoulder was completely out of socket. So that ended everything.
If baseball players can't throw, you can't do much on a baseball field. But let's see. Well, I'm thinking here. Did we lose power?
No, we're on.
Okay, all right. Help me out here, John. I'm thinking of something. I'm trying to think of a memory here real quick, and there were some things that some real good ball players we played with. Okay?
Yeah.
We had, we had Johnny Kowalczyk on that team. He went and played off in college. A lot of guys went to college.
Yeah. Harry was the catcher.
Yeah.
We had a lot of Chris Kacharski.
Harry Slocum. Ronnie Markley was a big part of that 79 team.
Yeah, that was one of the best catchers I've ever had, all the way through college, everything.
Yeah, and, it was one of those things there with Ronnie. He developed a shoulder problem his senior year, and that kind of limited his duty. But he was being heavily scouted at the time.
Yeah.
And, had he been able to stay healthy, he probably would have been able to go on and had a pretty good career there professionally.
Yeah, that was probably my biggest, one of the things that I enjoyed the most was my senior year, I got kept by the Indians and the Reds in tryouts. I went to go down to the old stadium and tried out there.
Yep.
And I was kept there, but I was already at Cleveland State, so my coach talked to them and said, no way, I was coming there.
Yeah, what they did back in those days, the Indians would bring in their top recruits in the area, top guys that they wanted to look at that were on their list, and the Reds did the same.
Yeah.
In fact, we still have a tryout camp over with the Reds over at North. They come in occasionally and run a camp there. But it's nice to be looked at. It's nice to be wanted. Okay, and it's nice. I think one of the things that guys see is they can measure their abilities against the other guys, or the good competition in the areas.
Yeah, that was a very good thing.
Yeah. That 79 team was coached by Paul Goodwin. Okay, he was your first varsity coach. Do you remember when he pulled you up on that team that year?
Yeah, it was right in the middle of the season. Kind of came up and said that I'd be coming up and helping out.
Yeah. Now, John, I was happy for you because we're supposed to be, but I'm looking around at my JV team, and I would have still liked to have you there.
Yeah, well, that was fun. JVs was a lot of fun. That's when I really got to enjoy baseball there.
Yeah. That 79 team, when you were brought up, okay, and started playing with them, that's when they got hot. Okay, I think you were kind of a shot in the arm for that ball club.
Yeah, that was fun. I hit the home run to win the district championship, I think.
Yep.
It was that game.
Yeah. And, of course, you were led by a pretty good pitcher on that staff, too, with Dave Hadzinski.
And Angie Bryant.
Yep, Angie Bryant.
Angie was there, too.
I just talked to Angie the other day, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he's doing well.
Yeah.
So, But anyway, it's good to have you back. It's good to get you in the fold here in a place where you belong, John. I think your 3-sport career, baseball alone would probably get you there. But I mean, you had a tremendous 3-sport career. Football was probably your second favorite sport?
Yeah. Football, I thought I was going to go for that, but baseball is a lot. There was not as much. I hurt my both shoulders my senior year.
Yeah.
Early in the year, I separated my right one, then my left one. So
just don't get beat up as much playing baseball,
Basketball was a lot of fun, though.
Basketball.
At North, basketball was probably the funnest of the three.
Yeah.
We always went. We were in the championships pretty much every year. So
I'm sure that if we ever got you together with Tom Crow's old guys, I'm sure you guys have plenty of stories to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Because Tom definitely, always had a saying or something for something. Okie doke. How much time do we have left?
Well, we're waiting on Bob Foley.
Bob Foley?
Yeah.
We have him on the line.
We got Bob Foley on the line. There you go.
Okay.
Well, John.
Thank you very much. Good seeing you guys again.
And John now works for the post office with me.
Hey, that's right. John, thanks for coming by.
John, looking forward to September, man.
Hey, Bob, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Nice show. I've listened to the whole show, and first I'll congratulate the Hall of Fame committee on an outstanding job again this year, and just some first-class selections to join
a very exclusive group of the Hall of Famers at Eastlake North High School. Very well done. We'll talk the legacy of boys basketball. Tom Crow was the person that started North High basketball, and there's some really outstanding players in our Hall of Fame already, and they're all, I won't go through everybody's credentials, but they're all Greater Cleveland Conference. If they were all state, I'll mention that, but they're all outstanding players. First player inducted was Gary Cavell. He was hand-selected by the committee and Tom Crow. Gary was an outstanding player. I believe he was from the class of 64. Bob Peterlin, super three-sport athlete, great basketball player. Scott Fischel, he was a 75. He took his team to the regional, outstanding player, played at Lakeland. Yours truly was the fifth player put in. In 2012, Joe Dillio was put in, and Joe was an outstanding football player as well, a professional golfer. It was mentioned earlier, he was the leading scorer in the Greater Cleveland Conference. Back in '66, Jack Polkar. Jack, outstanding player, is a great supporter of the Hall of Fame. Went on to play at Bowling Green. He played for Bill Fitch at Bowling Green, who was the Cleveland Cavaliers coach, former coach, and Boston Celtic coach. Bob Bogard. Bob, outstanding athlete from '59. He was also a nationally ranked college tennis player down in Ohio Wesleyan. Cal Schenk came from the class of '59. He led the Greater Cleveland Conference in scoring. In 2014 as well, Wally Seversky played at West Liberty. Wally was the Greater Cleveland Conference Player of the Year. Ken Kostelik. Ken was a 67 graduate. He was the leading rebounder of his time, probably the best rebounder in the area. Ken was a war on the boards. He was one tough cookie. Dick Spots also played in that 66 team. They had three guys in the Hall of Fame from 66, 67. Dick was Greater Cleveland Conference first team, but he was the MVP of the district tournament. Frank Pringle from class of 61 as well. Frank wasn't very big. He was 6'1", 6'2", but he was also a great rebounder. And last year we inducted Fred Pecos. Fred was All-Ohio in basketball and football, honorable mention. Played football at West Point. He was captain there, blew his knee out. He's also a great supporter of the Hall of Fame. Not being inducted this year, we don't have a particular basketball player, but John Mandato and Chris Mangiardo, both certainly should be mentioned in the basketball segment. Chris is now the all-time leading rebounder for Eastlake North boys basketball.
I believe
we'll move on to the boys track. Some really fine, great track people from Eastlake North. Back in the 60s and 70s, we had the best track teams in central or in northern Ohio. Fred Anger, first state champion, great pole vaulter. My brother Kevin, NCAA cross country, finished second. He was a U.S. Olympic qualifier in the marathon. Tom Henderson went on to coach at Eastlake North, ran at West Liberty, had the mile record at North for a number of years. Bob Barrett from the class of 58, probably the most outstanding record to still stay at North. He's been there since 1958 as a discus thrower. Brian Rickert, arguably the best track person ever to come through North, has 5 school records. He was a state champion as a junior in the long jump. Bill Nose, also a champion pole vaulter. Felix Rendina, 2011 from the class of 69. Felix probably still runs the News Herald 10K race every year. He's a fixture on the roads and really set the tone for the distance runners at North High School. Luli Cullegrass from the class of 65 was also in the 2011 inducted. He was a 2-time state qualifier in the long jump. Bob Fickus. Bob broke the pole vault record from a state champion. It was also broken by somebody else, but Bob held that record for probably 30 years. He was inducted. His brother Bill is being inducted this year for wrestling. Gary Coppers, fastest 100-yard, 100-meter man North ever had. Was a really good football player, outstanding athlete in his own right. Doug Fox was the high jump champion at North. He had a school record of 6 feet 11 inches, I believe, or 6 feet 5 inches, I believe it is. Bob Doyle, track and field from the class of 60, a 2015 inductee. Held sprint and relay records, and also played football and basketball. That brings us to this year's inductee and outstanding track and field person, I believe, from the class of 95. He was 4th in the state of Ohio in the discus, 5th in the state of Ohio in the shot put, 4th in the state of Ohio in wrestling. So he's a state qualifier in 3 events, which is unheralded, just outstanding. Today he's a football coach at the collegiate level, I believe, and he's had 14 players move on to the to play in the NFL. Coach Craig, are you on with us?
Yes, I am.
Why don't you talk about because I believe you coached this inductee, Bob Zoller.
Bob was one of the gentlemen that came up to North, and we reinstituted our winning seasons. That team in the room, it was something. Very physical in the room, never gave up on each other, and all their teammates attested. Bob was one of the leaders, never gave up, and it influenced the rest of them. A lot of people came out of that room, and we qualified, and at the districts 2 years in a row, we were in the top 3 over at the Menor Meat Grinder, of course behind St. Ed's, who won it this last weekend again. But talking about a leader, 2-time qualifier to state for me in wrestling at 171 pounds after he played starting guard on the football team, as well as, so he was involved in 3 sports. Yep. And then came through with took up the shot and the discus. So it was tremendous to have Robert around, and he'll be with us potentially in September.
That'd be great. Moving on to girls track, Justine Albanese Anarino, 2008 inductee, state finisher, placer in cross country as part of the Super 6. Tara Park-Smith, class of 2009, inductee in 2009, outstanding cross country, also part of the Super 6. Tina Chester Keller, also part of the Super 6, was inducted in 2010. Joanne Stanich McCoy, outstanding track and cross country, took her career to Northwestern in track and field. And Linda Suba Gaborski, 2013 inductee from the class of school graduates, 1977. Again, outstanding 3-sport athlete, but was inducted for track and field. And finally, Leslie Vidmar, track and field, 1994, outstanding trackster. She went all the way to the Olympic trials. So there's some really good basketball and track people that have come through the halls of Eastlake North. I congratulate all of the inductees in the 2017 class. When I say you're joining an exclusive group, you are joining an exclusive group, and on September 7th, you will be, the red carpet will be laid out for you, and I hope that you will be as impressed as the past groups have been. It's been my pleasure to be part of the committee as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it, and great job. Great job.
Well, Chuck, it's amazing all the work that you've done to this point with you and your committee. And now the cat's out of the bag. We know who the 2017 inductees are. And the date is Thursday, September 7th. Is that right?
That's correct. And it's a Thursday night, and we always do it on a Thursday night before the first home football game in North. So it's very, very nice. And inductees come in. We have it at the LaMoffa Party Center, which is one of the premier function rooms in Lake County, if not the entire Cleveland area. We have a great crowd. We generally get anywhere between 240 to close to 300 people every year. We fill the room and have a great time. And it's like a gigantic athletic reunion, so everyone enjoys themselves.
Chuck, and for our listeners at home, how do you get tickets?
Again, they can. We actually now have a North High Facebook, North High Sports Hall of Fame Facebook page, and tickets can be ordered from Dave Craig. Orders can be sent to 6380 Clear Air Drive in Mentor, Ohio. That's 6380 Clear Air Drive in Mentor, Ohio, to Dave Craig. Tickets are $60. That's for an open bar, great buffet dinner, plus an hors d'oeuvre table that you just can't believe. And get your ticket orders in, because again, this might be our first year to have a complete sellout. So we're looking forward to that. So.
And the day after, you'll have the inductees come to that first football game and be introduced at halftime.
Anyone that can, we either introduce them just before the game or at halftime. So yeah. So again, get a chance to see a football game, and the inductees also get honored there.
Now, Chuck, well, you and your committee, when do you actually start doing 2018? Not that you want to.
About a week ago.
You already tell our listeners this is a year-round event then for you guys.
Yeah. Again, when we send out the ballots, again, anyone that we don't have an up-to-date information or all the information, so we're constantly updating the resumes of the people that are on the ballot. And every year, again, I probably got about 6 or 8 man-hours of keystroking to get all the additional information that was provided to us, and basically get everyone organized and ranked and the ballot ready to go out in 2018. So yes, we're constantly working on it, and then basically making all the final preparations for what goes on in September.
And eligibility-wise, you must be a graduate from Eastlake North for 20 years, is it?
20 years, yes. So basically, this year, if you graduated from 1997, in 1997 was the first year that you're on the ballot. Next year, if you graduated in 1998, as an example, next year we got Oslin, Matt
Oslin, state champion.
Wow. So he graduated in 1998. So he'll go on the ballot as a state wrestling champion. I would say that there's probably an excellent chance when that ballot goes out, he'll receive enough votes in his very first year as a state champion. Definitely, you can't do any better than that. So my guess is he's a first-year ballot inductee next year.
And a couple of the other members on the committee that weren't here tonight is who?
Dennis Riley wasn't with us tonight. Aaron Miller wasn't with us tonight. And John Matucci, he's a captain. He drives 747s for Delta Airlines. So he was flying out of Detroit, I think, to Tokyo. So he could not be with us tonight. He had to fly the big silver bird.
Well, Chuck, there's no Hall of Fame like Eastlake North's, and you guys really created an incredible event for which was long in time and due to pay tribute to these tremendous athletes and tremendous contributors to Eastlake North. Great job to you and your committee, and we love having you on the air. But what a great show here tonight with all these people, and we counted up 33 graduates that were here, and there are probably even more than that, plus another 100 people.
Yeah. So thank you so much for having us, Charlie. This really makes it a great event when we get to go on radio and do it all live.
All right. Thank you, Chuck.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, David and Spark and Glenn. We are Mondays with Malta. Live at the Happy Moose tonight. Next week we'll be at the Stadium Grill for our lacrosse show, Menor and Lake Catholic. Tonight brought to you by Pepco, Jack Borky, Clements Construction, Mike Clements, Matrix Tool Machine, the Providence Croatian Home, Mentor Family Foods, Forenza Stone, and Mike Germano for Judge. We are 101.5 FM, 1330 AM, and coast to coast and around the world, WINTradio.com.